G Squared 2013. So I saw this quote by John Ron that says that formal education will make a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. And so I kind of interpreted that like he was saying, learning on your own it's what you hold on to, but learning from a teacher, from a textbook, is something that you don't remember very well. And I can definitely relate that to G Squared this year because we've had to go up on our own, use initiative, become leaders in a way, and I think that this quote holds true to G Squared. Alright, so for my Pickett project, I picked history, and the project was the Just War project. And in this project, me, Cody, Justin, and Bradley, we had to argue that Vietnam was a just war and World War II was an unjust war, which was kind of challenging, but I mean, we figured out a way around it. And we saw that actually there is a very blurry gray line in between just war and non-just war. And so here you can see some reasons how we argued that Vietnam was a just war and that World War II was actually an unjust war. Can you click on the video? You don't have to watch the entire thing. But we created a video. That's probably right. Just to give you kind of an idea of what we did for our project. Just click on the present. So just to recap the project, we did research on the wars. We actually learned about how they started, how the countries entered into them. We did all the research we would normally do. We learned everything about the war. And then we also learned what made a war just and unjust. So, U.S. history standards. Can I turn off the front lights? U.S. history standards. So the first one, understanding historical patterns, periods of time, and relationships among these elements. So like I said, we learned about the war, why it was fought, and the countries involved in the fighting and why they were fighting. We learned that how it actually affects us today too. So understanding cause and effect relationships and other historical thinking skills in order to interpret events and issues. So like we learned about why World War II was started, like the communism scare, the domino effect, stuff like that. World War II, we learned about that because we had to fight tyranny. Alright, for chemistry. For chemistry, I chose the soap making project because it was by far my favorite chemistry project we've done so far. I chose the project because we've been doing equations and we've been seeing how molecules like interact in class, but then we got to like see a physical example of atomic reaction in a way, and that like it turned into a solid after mixing it and all these other weird things that happened. So like you can see, we started with Crisco, we added some other chemicals to it and mixed it up. We just let it sit for a while, and it turned into soap, and I was completely baffled by that. For once, we actually took like the learning we did in the classroom, and we applied it, and we made something with it. So that was definitely cool to me. And to recap, we made the soap out of all those different chemicals, and we learned how all the reactions like affected it. So standards. Basically, all of those standards they have to do with how the soap was forming, the atoms, the energy transfer, the heat that was involved, why you had to melt it, why you had to get it cold, things like that. So for my 21st century skills, I actually decided to connect them to both of my projects. And in collaboration with the U.S. history one, me and Cody and Justin and Bradley, we all did like different parts of the project. So me and Justin had to collaborate with Cody, and it also goes along with communication. We had to collaborate with Cody and Bradley and like combine both of the parts of the research we did because we both did different research. So we had to combine that into one movie. Critical thinking. We also had to kind of look behind what everybody said about the war because there were gray, blurry lines, like I said. And professionalism, we couldn't mess around in class, otherwise we wouldn't have got this done. And we did have class time to do it, so we had to stay focused, stay on task. And for the soap making project, the collaboration part, we all had to do different tasks making the soap, Some of us went and got the Crisco and melted it, some of us got the chemicals, some of us mixed it, stuff like that. The critical thinking part was we had to see how, like, the soap was using all of these other weird formulas that we had learned in class, like why the chemicals reacted that way, atomic bonding, things like that. In professionalism, also, we couldn't like mess around with the soap or like eat the Crisco, weird things like that. We had to stay on task and we had to all mix it together and be good. So summing up G squared, this is hopefully not the last year of G squared. I've learned a lot. It made me a leader in ways, and I think it's made all of us leaders in ways. And these 4 people, they've also become leaders, and they didn't all have like standard educations like our high school counterparts. And so I think it's very inspirational, all of them. And that's the end. Thank you for your time.